The following podcast contains spoilers for The Interview, 1998, and Chernobyl. You have been warned.
Welcome back, everybody, to KFR News Radio. This is your host, Glinjamin Button, along with your host, Miguel Magusto.
Guten Tag, mein Freund.
Mein Schnugger.
Wie geht es Ihnen?
Stinky stink.
Stinky stink, ooh. Hey, Glenn, I got a question for you.
Oh, man, I have an answer for 2 weeks now. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's do this. What is the name of the cotton plantation in Gone with the Wind? That is actually pretty difficult. I don't even know that.
I don't know that. And I
do have multiple
was going to
choice
say
for you.
Candyland, because I thought this was going to go Django Unchained. But no, I have no idea.
You ready for a multiple choice?
Bring it.
You have Kara, Zara, Tara, or Laura.
What the fuck is that shit?
I guess those are possible names of cotton plantations.
Cara, Tara, Lara, and Flora?
It was Zara, Kara, Tara, and Laura.
Fuck it. Fucking Tara? I don't...
Hey!
Whoa.
Good guess. That was a good guess.
Whoa. I was going to say Cara, too. Oh, my Lord.
So how you been, Glenn? It's been a while.
Oh, man. I'm exhausted, Mike.
You exhausted?
So we had... Chernobyl, it was so long.
It was. It was so
It was
long.
so exhausting.
It was.
It was... I don't know. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. But, yeah, we should definitely limit how many miniseries we do.
Mm-hmm.
But,
We probably should have knocked out the interview and just only did Chernobyl.
yeah.
But it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, live and learn. Next time we do a miniseries, we'll just do the miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't foresee that being a thing. At least soon. Do you see any movies worth mentioning in the past 2 weeks? It's been 2 weeks, buddy.
I don't believe I've seen shit this whole time. Did anything even come out? No, I don't think I've seen anything. I saw your movie. That's about it.
Hey,
There's a plug.
That's something. That is a thing. What'd you think? I don't think we got to talk about it too much.
You want me to be honest?
Yeah, sure.
I really enjoyed it.
Oh, well.
Like a lot. Like even the third time watching it, I was still like, oh man, this is so good.
You've seen it 3 times now? Mm-hmm. That makes me feel giddy inside. What did Kira think? Is that
She
is that
actually
classified?
didn't say anything.
Oh.
So I don't know what that means.
Oh boy.
But I mean, I think she liked it.
Kira, you gotta. We're delicate creatures. You gotta give us some feedback.
Little give and take.
Silence is not a thing we like. I've seen a few movies. Pretty much.
Spill the beans.
Yeah, I saw Rocket Man, the movie about Elton John. Mm-hmm. Not that they can really be compared, but since they're both movies about musicians, it's a hell of a lot better than Bohemian Rhapsody.
Really? Okay.
Which I don't understand the hype around Bohemian Rhapsody, but it is what it is. But this Rocket Man makes Bohemian Rhapsody look like a Lifetime movie. With quality and writing and
Well, it's
all that
probably
alone.
much
but-
easier alone, just the fact that it's one musician instead of the whole group.
Oh, absolutely. But that's probably my biggest thing about Bohemian Rhapsody is like no one... Yeah, Queen's a great band, but no one really cares about anyone else other than Freddie Mercury, as mean as it is.
Yeah.
It's the truth. I hate to break it to you. Like, Freddie Mercury was that band. Anyway, I'm going to stop shitting on Queen right now. I do like Queen, but...
Notice I'm not saying a thing here. This is all Mike.
I also saw Always Be My Maybe with Ali Wong and Randall Park.
Man. I was actually, believe it or not, was going to try to recommend that, but we already did a romantic one not that long ago.
And we also talked about Keanu Reeves.
We did.
It is not that good, if you ask me. I don't understand the hype. It is... It's funny, it's enjoyable, but it's poorly written.
I think a lot of people are hugely just excited about it because Keanu Reeves' part in it.
Yeah. Keanu Reeves is by far the best part of it. I really like Randall Park. Ali Wong, I'm not a huge fan of, even like in this movie. She was fine. Like the movie was fine, but I think people are kind of going a little too crazy about it. But you know what? If they enjoy it, good for them. And then I saw a documentary called The Biggest Little Farm, which was about this organic farm just outside of LA, and where they tried to grow multiple crops instead of just one.
Yeah.
And it was depressing because it's essentially about the circle of life.
The circle.
Yeah, but I mean, it's more or less happy, but I don't know. There's this part where they show a paralyzed coyote, and it's the saddest thing ever.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was not ready to see that. Like, I wish they had just told me and not shown me, because that coyote, I just wanted to love it. Even though it's a vicious creature, I just wanted to love that coyote.
It's just a wild animal.
It is.
It's
just doing what it's designed to do, or evolved to do, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, that's all I saw other than our 2 projects, movies, miniseries. So I guess let's just get into it. Let's start with The Interview. Directed by Craig Monahan and written by Craig Monahan and Gordon Davey, starring Hugo Weaving, Tony Martin, Aaron Jeffrey, and Paul Sankila. The Interview is a duel between a suspected murderer and a detective pressed by people who want results, but whose skin is really wanted. Yeah. This is not to be confused with the, I think, 2015, 16...
2014.
2014 with Seth Rogen, James Franco, Randall Park.
Speaking of Randall Park.
Yeah, exactly. About the Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un and all that.
Yeah. This is more just like a standard movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. Probably the biggest thing I have to say is that it is weird seeing Hugo Weaving be weak.
Yeah.
Because he's not weak the entire time, but he definitely starts off weak, and that was just really weird, not seeing him controlling the scene the entire time. In a refreshing way.
And then, of course, as he does, he did later in the movie.
Oh, yeah. It's really crazy. It does a really good job at making you wonder who's telling the truth throughout the entire thing. And to the point where I still don't know who was telling the truth. Like, they don't tell you outright what happened.
They kind of show it at the end is what happens.
It's I think they do it in enough where it's like
it's confusing.
It's confusing. It's vague enough where, like, yes, they do tell you, but it could just be, something completely different. Like, it's yeah. What did you think?
I was watching this movie on the side. Like I was telling you earlier, I was transferring a bunch of photos while at the same time watching this movie. So I was for a little bit, I was more or less half paying attention to it. And then I realized this was actually beginning to be a good movie. I was like, okay, I guess I'll just watch this movie hard as hell then. And it really did get a lot better as it went on. As you were saying, Hugo Weaving in the beginning of the movie was weak, but that's how his character was really portrayed. He was supposed to be like this weak man.
Yeah, his performance is weak, but the character is weak.
Yeah. Just this weak man who just was sleeping, and then these policemen barge in and just accuse him of stealing a car. So there's that, and then
but because it's just car theft and they're breaking into his house, something else is up too.
Yeah.
Like they do a good job at leading you on to know that there's more to it than what the policemen are saying, which really adds to the confusion of the entire thing.
And even his character was questioning it the whole time. He's like, "This is all for a car theft." I can't do an Australian accent.
Yeah,
there's no way. But yeah, like it just kept building up, and then like you're on Hugo's side for a little bit, and then Hugo's telling his actual story, and then you're like, wait, what the fuck? And then you're not really on the policeman's side because they're all dicks throughout the whole interview.
Yeah.
But then you're like, maybe he is the bad guy. But at the same time, you're like, but fuck, man, he's really a nice guy. But at the same time, he's confessing all this stuff, and I don't know what's going on anymore. But he's hungry now? My lord, I was all over the place with this movie.
Yeah.
I loved it, to be honest.
Yeah, same here. And I really think the the way they ended it, like you said, he starts confessing to the murders and kind of giving details to the murders. But at the same time, they are things that more or less were brought up, even just slightly, by the police officers. So it's really like a whole question of, is he just doing it because they're refusing to feed him, and he knows that if he admits to it that they'll give him food, which is, again, a whole ass backwards thing with investigations, that you start being nice to people once they start admitting to things, whether they did it or not. It's just it is a really good moral, like, complexity, moral gray area that you're not sure who to root for pretty much throughout the entire thing. It sways back and forth. Are you rooting for Hugo Weaving's character or Tony Martin's character? Like you said, the cops are pretty much dicks from the get-go, so it's easier to be on Hugo Weaving's side even when he's confessing to murder. But it's just such a complex, really well-written story that really nothing really happens other than people talking, but it's fantastic.
They don't even show any like action scenes. If like once we actually find out the truth at the end, it's not even like a huge action scene like outside of the investigation room. It's just Hugo on the side of the road.
Yeah, and the one thing I thought was really cool, anytime they showed a flashback. And now that I'm saying this, I feel like the flashbacks are the only truths in the entire thing. Yeah. Because when they show a cop's flashback about how someone identified him, they show him showing his picture to a someone they're questioning, and the guy shakes his head. He's like, "No, I didn't. I don't recognize him." And then when they show Hugo Weaving's flashback, it shows everything he's talking about. So, maybe the flashbacks are the only truths in the entire movie.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, no. Yeah, I think that just blew your mind. You just smacked your mic.
I was like, my mind is blown, smack.
But that's something I didn't even realize until we started talking about it, that the flashbacks for the cops, when they lie, show that they're lying. And now I feel bad for kind of rooting for Hugo Weaving throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's good because that's how powerful it was.
No, absolutely. He was such, like, even when he was confessing to the murder, he was such a, like, likable character, and in a weird, fucked up way. Like, you don't condone what he did, but you're just like, this guy's not so bad.
And the whole time, it didn't help the police were doing it for the wrong reasons. Yeah. Like, they did have the guy, but they had a whole nother plot behind it, and it was just really... Absolutely. Like, there's no way to root for them. Yeah. Even though they are technically the good guys in this case. Well, usually in all the cases when they're police, but still.
It's... that goes back and forth. But this is kind of interesting. Like, this is really one of the director's only movies. I mean, he made a couple documentaries... one in 1984, one in 1989. This came out in 1998, sorry. Peaches, which came out in 2004, and Healing, which came out in 2014. Like, he hasn't worked much as a director, and to have him have this strong of a film as his first narrative film is is really impressive.
Yeah, that's insane. It's like he just didn't do much for a good 10 years, and then after that, another 10 years.
Yeah. And it's not, he didn't even really... I'm looking... Granted, this is just IMDb. He could have been on other stuff and just not on his IMDb, but yeah, he's got huge gaps in between all of his work, which is really impressive in a way.
Yeah. I mean, good for him. Either staying away from... making movies on his own and focusing on his life or whatever he does. I don't know. I don't have an explanation, but that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have too much to say about this one.
This movie's really hard to talk about for a long time because it only ever takes place in one spot. It's the police station, and besides the interview room, it's like a stairwell or a rooftop, and I mean, it's a very good movie.
I think it has really great writing. Like if this were just a play, I feel like it could work as just a play as well.
Yeah. It also doesn't help there's only like 12 people in the whole movie either.
Yeah, the dialogue's just that compelling.
Yeah.
Where if it was just on stage, you would just still be transfixed on it.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with this one.
Same.
So, shall we move on to Chernobyl?
Which episode?
Well, the good we did. It doesn't matter. What does matter is that to them, justice was done. You see, a just world is a sane world. There was nothing sane about Chernobyl.
I'm pleased to report that the situation in Chernobyl is stable. In terms of radiation, I'm told it's the equivalent of a chest X-ray.
No, Chernobyl is on fire. And every atom of uranium is like a bullet, penetrating everything in its path. Metal, concrete, flesh. Now, Chernobyl holds over 3 trillion of these bullets. Some of them will not stop firing for 50,000 years.
This is more of like a really long movie than a miniseries for me. Like I'm considering this a movie to myself, for my
Well, I do too. It's
records.
It's 5 episodes. Like each one is at the very least an hour long. So it's. I mean, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, the entire series as a whole is 5.5 hours. Which again, I completely understand why they didn't make it just a movie, because there's really too much in here.
There's a lot to talk about.
That is compelling, and it's too good to cut out. So I guess I should let you get into it.
Well, here we go. Chernobyl, the HBO special. In April 1986, an explosion at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics becomes one of the world's worst man-made catastrophes. Did I have trouble on that last part, or like the synopsis the last time?
The entire synopsis you did.
I feel like I was dying right there.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. Created by Craig Mazin, or Mazin, however you want to pronounce it. Us at KFR, we're always messing stuff up. Stars Jared Harris, Jesse Buckley, Stellan Skarsgård. There's a lot of people in this show.
Emily Watson,
Adam Nagatius,
Paul Ritter, Con O'Neill.
Who's the kid from Killing of a Sacred Deer? Where is he at?
His name, he's got a really weird pronunciation. Oh, Ralph Ineson, isn't it? Barry Keoghan, I believe is how it's pronounced. He's the kid from Killing of the Sacred Deer. He plays Pavel. Probably one of the saddest parts of the entire show, but yeah. Were you interested in Chernobyl before this series? Because it has been one of my fascinations for quite some time.
So I knew about Chernobyl. I didn't know anything much about it. Like I knew it was a thing, and it was. But I didn't really. That's why I wanted to watch this, and like it'd be cool if we did it on here, because I had no idea what the hell happened, or anything like that. So yeah. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah, I have a fascination with ghost towns in general, and they're usually all from like the 1800s and rotting wood and all that, not well preserved. So I always had a fascination with at least Pripyat, which is the city nearby that they evacuate, because they legitimately just dropped everything and left. like you saw, they were forcing people to leave their dogs behind, which is more sad than pretty much anyone dying in the entire series.
Yeah.
Like they still had like cups of coffee on the tables, which are probably knocked over from nature now. And I do believe that they've had some military people go out and clear the, clear anything that's going to be harmful in any way. But yeah, I just had a fascination with it. I still want to travel to it now because it is safe to travel, at least for a small amount of time.
I was going to say, I wouldn't go there for another 50 years at least. That's how much it scares me.
No, Pripyat, Chernobyl is still fucked.
Yeah,
but
no doubt on that.
Yeah, like Pripyat is like if you're there for like 2 hours, you're fine. So I think they do have tours there that only last a couple hours.
Okay.
But yeah, it's definitely something that you wouldn't want to just do without researching a lot. But yeah, I thought the cast in this was great. Jared Harris, who is normally a character actor, he just completely ran the entire show, and it was good to see him in a leading role for once.
Yeah, for real, because he's in Mad Men, he's in Benjamin Button, but he doesn't seem to be in terribly much. I mean, obviously he's got work, but Sherlock Holmes, Mortal Instruments, there's Allied. But like you said, it's definitely nice to see him in the top spot there.
Yeah. I think the most shocking thing for me, like I said, I kind of researched this a lot, but I never knew how fucked up the government was. Like, I knew it was communism and they were really shady and all that, but to not listen to scientists and say that they're mistaken because they don't want to admit that they had made a mistake is absolutely insane. And
it's 100% believable. Like, there's a lot of memes and stuff going around like, oh, why would the government why would the Russian government do that? I'm like,
No, I mean, it's completely understandable. The whole thing, what people don't understand is the Cold War was between two flawed governments. Yes, capitalism is flawed. I'm not going to take that back. Trying to show that they are perfect and don't make mistakes. And while capitalism is better than communism, it still has some shady shit that goes on.
Yeah.
But communism was at a whole new level. Like, they would never admit, like, that's pretty much the entire thing. The whole thing goes to Jared Harris's testimony. The character's name is escaping me, where he's saying the cause of the explosion was lies, is that the Soviet government was so afraid of being humiliated, they would refuse to admit that they created a flawed product. And they thought Leninism would not survive, and because it more or less didn't, because Gorbachev, who was the I don't know if they call it president or prime minister or whatever, the leader of the Soviet Union, who was the last leader of the Soviet Union, said that he is pretty convinced that the Chernobyl disaster was the reason the Soviet Union fell, because it showed everyone in the world that the Soviet Union is flawed. They have a flawed system. They refuse to admit any wrongdoing ever, to the point where it kills up to, I think they said, like 96,000 people might have died as a direct cause of Chernobyl.
Yeah.
Now that's something
that's obviously very rough, and there's no accuracy there. But
I think the accepted number is 4,000, but it could be as high as 96,000.
I think they said 38.
What the
the
Soviet Union said
yeah.
31, and the only reason I know that is because I laughed and said it out loud afterwards. But yeah, they said only 31 people died as a result of Chernobyl. Pretty much everyone else agrees that it was probably 4,000.
Yeah, much higher.
But it could be as high as 96,000. Again, that's one of those things where it's like, that's a very loose number, but still 4,000 people, because one guy more or less just wanted a promotion, which is, granted, this is just from the series. I don't know for fact.
Yeah.
I have not read the trial. I have not read the actual charges for him. But Dyatlov, who was running the power plant at the time, who was kind of an asshole, he just wanted a promotion and refused no for an answer while running the safety test. And fuck, that's insane.
Yeah, man. This whole thing blew my mind.
Same here.
Whether or not, like, just from the Russian government's point of view and just being like, no, it couldn't be us. We didn't do it. Or just the fact that nobody would listen to the scientists when it's obviously clear some shit's going down.
Which is kind of familiar today and kind of terrifying.
And it's just from the people's point of views and just like everybody melting around each other. And, oh man, this whole miniseries was so powerful.
Yeah.
And, like, it, in my opinion, deserves like its high fucking rating right now.
Oh, I'm sure. It actually beat out Game of Thrones for the highest.
So happy.
Well, it did. I don't know if it... Yeah, 9.6.
9.6.
And on IMDb, and Game of Thrones is at 9.4. This is definitely more worthy of it. I know Game of Thrones was working on a bigger scale, so that is something to definitely consider. But this is a more perfect series, in my opinion. Yes, it's only 5 episodes, but it's 5 damn near perfect episodes.
It's like I said, it's just a really long movie.
Yeah, so. And the thing I really liked about it is that they focused more, once they got the whole, the government fucked up and they're refusing to lie about it out of the way, they focused on the heroes that prevented more people from dying, like the coal miners, the 3 men that went and turned off the valves or turned on the valves. I can't remember what they were doing.
Yeah, the people of Russia, really.
Yeah. Like yes, the people of Russia are great, but they were essentially failed by their government in a way. And there's people in Russia probably still are great, but governments fail people all the time.
Yeah.
And but yeah, everyone in this is great. Stellan Skarsgård is great. Jared Harris is great. Emily Watson's great.
I think my only flaw with this series was that nobody stuck to an accent, like a Russian accent.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And I mean, obviously, when you're, filming about Russia and Russian people, you probably have a Russian accent.
Yeah, I understand why they had it in English, because less people would have viewed it if they did have to read subtitles, which is unfortunate, but it's true. I think it would have been more impactful if it was in Russian with subtitles. Or at the very least...
Even if it wasn't just in Russian, like Russian accents while speaking English would have made more sense.
Yeah, that is... For me, it goes the language of the place it's supposed to take place in, then at the very least the accents in English of the place it's supposed to take place in, followed by English as a last resort.
I mean, other than that, that's really my only flaw with this.
I agree. I feel like if the thing that bothered me is that if you're gonna have them speak in English, why were some parts in Russian? I understand they probably wanted like the exact audio clips. They're probably archived audio clips from that day. But it's kind of like reminding us that this is a farce. This is a show, the movie. Like, so it kind of takes you out of the I can't think of the word now. Immersion at that point. But yeah, it's just nitpicking. But that's
at this point on a 9.6 show, that's a nitpick.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, man, this show it was really good. It was obviously it was long. We had a very busy last 2 weeks, so it was hard to watch until the last minute for real. But man, did I enjoy every second of it. Yeah,
same here. I started watching it on Thursday. I watched 1 episode Thursday. That way I knew that I could split the last 4 episodes up to like essentially 2 hours each, Friday and Saturday. But yeah, this was a great show. I'm tired of animals dying in things.
Luckily, this one, like, it made sense to kill the animals.
Yeah, well the good news is that there is actually a pack of dogs that are still alive in Pripyat today. So they didn't get all of them. Yeah. And those dogs are actually thriving without people. Which, makes it a little better. It also made it better that you could tell the people who were charged with killing the dogs did not like the fact that they were charged with killing the dogs. They actually
cared about the animals and everything like that.
And it would have been much harder if it was just like, oh yeah, let's just kill these dumb animals and not have any emotion in it at all. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. It really put humanity into an inhumane moment. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have too much to say. It's a fantastic show. I highly suggest everyone checks it out if they can.
Yeah, hopefully nobody canceled their HBO subscription that fast.
Yeah.
And I would absolutely recommend this if you still have it.
Tell me how to put it out.
You are dealing with something that has never occurred on this planet before.
Cut the phone lines. Contain the spread of misinformation.
What will happen to our boys?
The pain is unimaginable. In 3 days to 3 weeks, you're dead.
You can see him, and you cannot touch him. Do you understand?
What happened on the night of the accident?
Asking the right question will get you the truth. There is no truth.
What happened there? What happened after? All of it. All of it. Madness.
That does it for the interview and Chernobyl. That brings us to the judgment. Let's start with the interview, which was mine. Like we said, it was really well made. It's a really well written show or movie. Not show, that's the other one. And it even though it's just dialogue, it really keeps your attention the entire time, and keeps you guessing pretty much until the end. And in my opinion, as simple as the ending is, it is terrifying in a way with him just walking
with that
away.
shit-eating grin on his face.
Oh yeah, the Hugo Weaving shit-eating grin. So I will say yes, this does deserve to be on the shelf. It is a shelf boy for me.
Well, it is just a shelf boy altogether. Look at that.
Oh, shelf boy. So the interview makes it onto the shelf. Let's move on to Chernobyl.
All right. I think we really talked about it all we could at the end of that little interview we had about it. So, I mean, it's a shelf boy for me, obviously.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's a Russian-speaking shelf boy.
I wish it was Russian-speaking, but it's fine.
It's wearing Adidas clothing and everything.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I am not one who really likes TV because there's no finality of it. But miniseries do have finality. I mean, that's why they're just miniseries. So this is really perfect in my mind, with the minor nitpicks aside. So yeah, I agree. It's a shelf boy.
Look at that. 2 shelf boys. Wow.
2 shelf boys.
In one episode.
So the interview...
Wouldn't that be 6 shelf boys, really?
Yeah, I guess so. The interview and Chernobyl both make it onto the shelf. We got 2 more movies for next week. Glenjamin Button, my friend.
Yes.
What is your movie for next week?
All right. I felt a little bad for us this last 2 weeks. There's a lot to watch. Obviously, since the last 10 seconds just happened, they were worth it. But I'm gonna go with a short film here. 55 minutes long. It stars Donald Glover and Rihanna, and it is a Amazon Prime exclusive. So there's that. It's called Guava Island.
Okay.
On Guava Island, a local musician is determined to throw a festival for everyone to enjoy. A tropical thriller starring Donald Glover and Rihanna. I'll be honest, I didn't look shit into this, so whether it's bad or good, it's got a 4.5 stars on Amazon, so there's that. Yeah. I just saw Donald Glover and I saw Rihanna. I'm like, give it to me, baby. Let's do it.
I couldn't care less about Rihanna, but I do like Donald Glover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that.
There's that. My movie, we're going to go into the theaters for my movie next week, and we're going to watch The Dead Don't Die.
Didn't that come out this week?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was debating seeing it today.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Look at that.
We're going to watch it. Written and directed by Jim Jarmusch, starring Bill Murray Adam Driver, Tom Waits, Chloe Sevigny, Steve Buscemi, Danny Glover, Caleb Landry Jones.
In this movie?
Yeah, my niece Steve Buscemi's in this movie. RZA. A whole bunch of people. RZA is in this.
I knew there was a lot of people. I didn't know RZA was in it.
The Dead Don't Die tells the story of the peaceful town of Centerville finds itself battling a zombie horde as the dead start rising from their graves. And I'm excited for it. It should be available at most theaters. It was a wide release, which I was excited to hear. And yeah, so our next movies are Guava Island and The Dead Don't Die. Yeah.
How long is that movie?
That is
hour
an hour
45.
Hour 45. It's not too bad.
Straight up 2.5 hours of movies right there.
Yeah, 2.5 hours after
about at least
6 hours. No, yeah, 7 and 15, I think it is.
That's nuts.
Yeah. But yeah, so that will do it until next week. As always, you can follow us on Instagram, Keystone_film_review. On Facebook, we are Keystone Film Review. Keystone Film Review. And on Letterboxd, I am Mike KFR.
And I am Glenn KFR.
And that will do it for next week. Or until this week. Or fuck.
Oh my god, dude.
Bye, everybody. I'm
Goodbye.
done.